Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do a character guide on Cissnei. Cissnei just dropped on Global yesterday, and she's actually a really cool character. So she's also a bit, I guess I would say, of a niche character, because you really have to, like if you're using her regular attacks, like she's not that fantastic, but she has a gimmick that is very abusable. So if you want to go all in on abusing her gimmick, she's really, really good. It can output a lot of damage. So I'm going to show you in this video how to really abuse her gimmick. There's a couple of ways you can do it. So before we jump into that whole deal, we'll talk about the artifacts and the spheres really quick. So artifacts are easy. Attack 108 and then Turk's Throwing Star up 2 star is what you want. The big thing with Cissnei is she's going to be doing a lot of damage off turn. So by increasing attack, you really want to maximize out on that damage. And then her Turk's Throwing Star 2 star is a party buff. So you really want, anytime, I've said this before, their C50 has that party buff on it, you typically want that because it's going to make the whole party work better. So that's kind of what you want to do there. And then for the spheres, we're going to hop into there. So she's got 2 A slots and a D slot. A slots, you want to do attack or brave damage. Brave damage, actually, you could prioritize a little more. She does a lot of brave hits if you're using her properly. So there's a lot you could put on there. So you pick whatever based on what A spheres you have. So I just picked a couple I had extras of. So I did Strago. The other thing is critical attack spheres she gets a better use out of, because through her kit, she gets like guaranteed crits or like very high crit chance a lot of the time. So she's going to be critting a lot. So any of these A spheres that trigger on crits are really easy for her to trigger. So I kind of took that route with mine. So I did Strago, which gives attack and then raises max brave limit when she crits. And then I did Yang's. I think Yang's is pretty good as well. So that does max brave and attack when dealing a crit. So I threw those ones on there. On the D slot, I just did her own. So anything that would like boost her attack or the party's attack, something like that would be fine. Once again, Ash is a generic one that you could always throw on. I really like Ash's D-Sphere. But since she had her own, I decided to do hers. When she deals a crit, raises the party's max brave and attack by 5%. So her sphere is actually very, very good. I didn't check the co-op, but if her sphere is refinable, it'd be a good idea to refine a bunch of those, because that's a pretty generic effect you can get off in the D slot. That's very good. So, if she, I don't think this one does have refining in it. I'll double check though, but if you can refine for this one, definitely go for it. So that's basically the spheres there. So let's hop into the showcase. This will actually be a pretty quick showcase. I think she's very easy to show off. So we'll kind of explain how she works. I'm running a team with Snow and Rem. Because I'm not bringing range damage, I'm going to go back into Edgar's intersecting wheel here. So we'll do that, and we'll do that. And my goal here is I'm going to try to just get into the burst phase fairly quick and kind of show off the combo. So the way Cissnei works is she has follow-up attacks, but she's kind of unique from other characters that do follow-ups in that hers has stacks on it. So you see her overhead buff there. It's got 1 stack on it. So her follow-up right now is going to be the weakest version. But she also, if you get that at 3, she gets a plus version, which is very, very powerful. The problem with her kit is that, so what I'm going to do, because I don't want to like run out of turns here. I don't want to tick the orb up. So you have Blade Glint and Threatening Ember. This is her 15 and her 35. You honestly will rarely press these if you're using her properly. The 15 Blade Glint, that is the one that refreshes the overhead. So you may need to press it to refresh that on occasion. But what's going to happen is each action she takes, she's going to gain a stack of that. However, every time she follows up, she's going to lose a stack. So it's very hard to like get it at 3 and stay at 3. However, what the LD does is it gives her 3 stacks, and it gives her a 1-turn buff that as long as that buff is up, she doesn't lose stacks on it. So the technique here, what you want to do is you want to use the LD and then make sure she doesn't get a turn for a long time. So we're gonna kind of demonstrate this here. So I'll just put the AA on because I can. Sure, we'll do that. It's gonna give us some attack buff there. I'm gonna put on Brave Gain. So Cissnei is one of the characters that's very abusable with Snow's BT effect. So we're gonna try to see if we can get it going here. We'll see. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to fully set it up before like the orbs start going off, but we'll see. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the LD right here. So what's gonna happen is this is gonna go off. And you're going to see her overheads at 3 stacks. Now look at this follow-up. So that's like a... it's like when you're set up, it's doing like 400k AoE. And it's going to be happening after every action that somebody takes, right? So now what I'm going to do here is we want to kind of, and the reason I brought Rem is you can turn manipulate. So turn manipulators and turn hogs work really, really good with Cissnei, right? So with Snow, let's go ahead and put this on. Okay, and then I am going to go ahead and put, I'm not going to put that on yet. I'm going to do the BT effect to get that going. And then I'm going to take Rem, and I'm going to have Rem go right back into Snow, because I'm going to have pretty much all of my, like, Brave Gang calls and stuff kind of set up. And then we're going to go into actually a burst phase with Snow to show off Cissnei. But we're going to see her go crazy here, too. So she's going to follow up here. And the reason why this is so abusable is she's doing, a bunch of HP dumps. Yeah, that was 300k AoE. But when Snow is going to be in full effect, like, she's going to be, like, capped on Brave the whole time. And we're going to be doing even more damage, right? So let's go ahead and throw this call on. And that's actually going to delay them, too. Yeah, bounce them back a little bit. Okay, and then Besiege Plus, yep. Perfect. So you're normally, you wouldn't be able to just keep the plus version of that going and going. But because of her LD, we can. And because we're turn manipulating, right? So I'm going to swap and bring Snow back up again. Okay? And these enemies are going to be absolutely melted by the end of this burst phase. So you have to be willing to be tactical with Cissnei and just run her in a way. So a really easy way to run Cissnei is to bring Terra on a team with her. I wanted to do Terra for this video, but I kind of wanted to show her in conjunction with Snow's effect. And I don't have room to like fit all that together. But Terra is literally like use her LD, take a bunch of turns. Cissnei is going to follow up every time. But essentially a burst phase is the same as that, right? So we can kind of show that through the burst phase. So you can just imagine just being able to do it outside of burst phase with Terra. You can really abuse it with Terra. For sure. So if you like Terra a lot, you can run Terra and Cissnei. They're a golden combo. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, after all this, we're going to go burst phase. And we have pretty much a lot of our bursts, our Brave Gain stuff set up here. So now we're just going to start attacking and going crazy. Now everything Snow does, we're watching Cissnei's follow-ups here, okay? So we just did that, and now here's this coming in. Okay, and that was like 357k. So basically the way to think about Cissnei is this. When you set it up properly, you guys know how busted like Garnet's follow-ups are. But Garnet's, you have to do it like it's every 4 actions you get that. Cissnei is like getting a Garnet follow-up every single attack is basically what it is. So the damage is going to rack up very quickly because we are doing 350 to 400k AoEs after every single action that we are taking, whether it be a burst phase or a consecutive turn character or using Rem to keep bouncing back and forth. But this is how you use Cissnei. You just set her up with the LD. Now in a longer fight, yeah, like the enemies might not just die instantly here at the end of this burst phase, right? So you might get some turns in between. So you could do the 35 is a good filler attack, like it's stronger than the 15. The 15 is what's going to refresh the overhead. But basically it's just what you basically have a plan for when you're going to set up these consecutive turns. And then once you do that, you just unload the LD beforehand and make sure that she's not attacking again before that. So now we're just going crazy, going insane here, just attacking through and just letting Cissnei do all this off-turn damage, which absolutely insane the amount of damage. Because you think of it, what in this burst phase we do, what, 7 attacks or something like that? So whatever damage she does in one turn, you can times that by 7. So she did what, like 2.1 million or something over 7 attacks by doing 350k AoEs, like just a ton of damage, right? So yeah, we just very easily spit out a 13 million burst phase. And other than Cissnei, that wasn't like crazy optimized. Like we could have done things to optimize that burst phase even more. But that was literally like, let's just set up the Cissnei combo and do a bunch of damage. And now even here outside of burst, bringing Rem is quite powerful because Rem now could say, okay, I'm going to use the AA and eat up a free turn. She's going to do her follow-up. Okay, and then I could just swap back to Snow, and I can just, as long as I keep everybody in front of Cissnei, I can just keep doing this. And this is only off of 1 LD use, right? So it's not saying like Cissnei can't have a turn. Like she can have a turn, it can fall off, but you can just refresh it. You got multiple LD uses at your disposal, right? So sure, let's just throw an ice ramp here. We'll see. The orb might pop here, but we'll see how far we can get here just outside of burst, just abusing Rem. So like Rem and Terra are two, like you wouldn't need to use Rem and Terra together, but as separate pieces, you could do Cissnei and then Rem or Terra, and then add your favorite third to that, and you've got a pretty cool little team comp there, right? So Rem here again, we will just swap back to Snow. Yep. Now the orbs are about to pop here, so I think we're about to run out, unless they die like very, very quickly here. But we got the big time retribution there. All right, actually they might die on this attack, so sure, let's EX it, and then we'll let... Yeah, I think we got him. Yep, and then this... Well, the one might live, but his orb can pop, that's fine. Oh no, it didn't pop yet. And so look at that, Cissnei's got another turn, we can just use hers. Now, I didn't even use her EX. So I guess we could talk about the EX. Basically what the EX does is it just gives a Fortune Star buff. And the Fortune Star buff just increases stats basically. And that's what actually gives her the 100% crit rate. So what you may want to do, it's depending on the fight, right? So you would maybe want to fight a little bit, just kind of do your thing for a few turns, get the EX off at least once. And then maybe once you've gotten the EX off, then you could go ahead and just up the combo. But you can see there, we basically used her LD right away, and within doing a burst phase and a little bit of Reb shenanigans, we completely killed the enemy, and Cissnei only had one more turn. Didn't even get a chance to fill up her EX gauge, so depending on the fight, you can just obliterate it that way, right? So anyways, guys, there you go. That's Cissnei, very quick, very easy. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.